It's 4:30 now, so we will make a start. So welcome everybody to our very special presentation this afternoon. It's a two-part series where we're looking at tools and strategies for online teaching and learning. And today we'll be looking at formative assessment. We're very proud to have Joe Dale. Now, Joe has come. Joe is, I guess, a guru of technology and language learning, and we're thrilled that he's here to share his ideas and his expertise with us. So, welcome, Joe. Now, before we move on to our acknowledgement of country, I would like to remind people that we are using the chat function. There will be opportunities to ask questions later, but I think while Joe is talking, if we keep our microphones on mute and only unmute when you want to ask something, simply so that we're not distracting with kind of extraneous noises. And certainly once I've finished talking, I will be switching off because I have children at home. Okay, so I'll just move on now. So before we move on to Joe, sorry, I'm just going to, we will, oh, sorry, what's happened to that? Looks like I've frozen. I will ask Lauren. Lauren, thank you to do the acknowledgement of country.
Okay, thanks very much, Gay. Good afternoon. My name's Lauren Quinn. I am one of the members of the QATESOL Management Committee, and I'd like to extend a welcome to Joe. Joe, in the local Aboriginal language of the region which I'm currently sitting on, we say Jingari, so welcome. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we all gather this afternoon throughout Queensland and the rest of Australia. I'm sitting on the land of the Yuggera and Yugambeh speaking peoples, and I'd like to pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, for they hold the memories, traditions, customs and hopes of all Indigenous Australians. We must remember, colleagues, that underneath the concrete and asphalt on which we live and work, the land was, is and always will be traditional Indigenous land that was never ceded. So, Jingari Jimbalong, and I hope you have a fantastic afternoon.
Okay, thank you, Lauren. So, Joe, it's over to you now.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here. This is amazing. So I will just share my screen, if that's okay.
Yes, please.
There we are. And just on this first page, I'll just give you a little bit of introduction about myself, if it's okay. So I was a French teacher for 13 years, teaching secondary school level for 3 years, and then 10 years in the middle school on the Isle of Wight, which is where I am right now, and have been living here for the last 20 years or so. For the last 10 years, I've been an independent languages consultant, and I have been to Australia many, many times. From 2012 onwards, I came every single year, and I just missed last year, and believe it or not, I've not been to Australia this year, but I hope to in the future, when hopefully we get back to some sort of normality. So delighted to be asked by QATESOL to do this presentation. So we're going to have one today and then one next week. This one is looking at formative assessment ideas. We're going to focus on two tools. So as opposed to going through lots and lots of different tools, we're going to focus on two tools. And I'm going to be going through step by step on how to use them. My Twitter account is at Joe Dale. If you're not following me and you'd like to follow me, I would be delighted to follow you back. I've got nearly 30,000 followers now, which is a bit crazy, but I have been on Twitter for 13 years or so. And my email address is joedale@talk21.com. If you would like me to help your school, your district, your area with ideas around remote teaching, hybrid teaching, then do let me know. I've got a slide later on with lots of example sessions and suggestions on how I can do that, because we're all in this together, and I feel my skill set can be very valuable in this particular context. Okay, so this is what we're going to look at today. We're going to look at two separate tools, so Socrative and Flipgrid. So Socrative is particularly good for reading and writing, and Flipgrid is particularly good for speaking and listening skills, although you can use it for writing as well. And I'm sure you're going to find this really useful. It'd be interesting to know if you've used some of these tools already. If you have used them already, feel free to write down, tips and tricks of how you're using them in the classroom to help everyone else. So we've got, I think, 37 people watching live. And because we're recording this, it means that people will be able to watch the recording as well. And I've asked if it's possible for me to publish the video on my YouTube channel as well, which is Joedale100. So that's Joedale 100 as in the figures. If you search that channel on YouTube, then you'll find many webinars that I've done as a presenter and also as a host as part of the technology and language teaching webinars that I helped to organize for the Association for Language Learning in the UK. So that's all on my YouTube channel. If you just search for Tilt webinars, then you'll find the information. Okay, right, let's carry on. Right, so what I thought I would do to start off with when looking at Socrative is to share some screenshots with you of different examples of teachers using Socrative. So if you've not seen it before, it's a formative assessment tool, which is good for quick fire questions, which don't require any preparation at all. And then you can also pre-make quizzes as well for more sort of focus activities. And everything is marked automatically, which is fantastic. So some teachers use this for sort of like vocabulary tests, for example, every week, and everything's marked for you, and all the evidence is stored within a worksheet, into a spreadsheet, which you can then keep in your Google Classroom or in your OneDrive or wherever it might be. Okay, so on the left-hand side there, you've got a little highlighted green, yellow section, which is taken from a Guardian article. And as you can see, it says after a short amount of teaching on a particular grammar point, students might then complete an interactive quiz using Socrative. This is really useful assessment for learning strategy as the results are collated and fed back to the teacher automatically via email. So that was written by a language teacher called William Strange, or Will Strange, from the northeast of England in a place called Harrogate. And on the right-hand side, there's the Harrogate Grammar School Languages Department, who've written Socrative to check understanding of grammar, report show patterns of common problems and exit tickets, great for gaining individual feedback. Below that is Hawthorne's Languages, which is a prep school in England. And again, you can see that they are taking part in a space race to consolidate the future tense. So all these examples are all from language teachers. And then on the left-hand side, it's referring to a Google Sheet, which has different Socrative codes attached to it, which different teachers have added. And that's because each quiz that you make has its own code. Therefore, if you share the codes in, say, a spreadsheet, then it reduces everyone's workload. So I would encourage you, for example, if you wanted to, as a organization, to maybe create a collaborative Google Sheet with all the Socrative codes all in it. And you can see again that all the links to everything I'm referring to are all here as well. I'm going to be sharing the whole presentation with you as well as in the Google Slides presentation on the last slide. So you're going to have everything as well as the recording. This is what we're going to do now. We're going to have a look at Socrative ourselves. So I'm going to come out of my presentation and I'm going to go live to Socrative. So I'm going to log in as I'm already logged in as a teacher. So what I'd like you to do, please, is to go to socrative.com and log in as a student, please. For the student, you just need the room number, which, as you can see, is clearly displayed on the screen, 29701. So if you could all go to www.socrative.com, like that, and then log in as a student, not as a teacher, and put in my room number, which is 29701. 29701. I was going to say as well that if you have questions that you want to ask there and then, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm very used to multitasking. I've got two screens, so it means I can see the chat all the time, and you can ask me questions. I can then refer to it there and then. If it's just a question of, can you repeat something, then it's probably best just to wait for the recording. But if there's a specific question that you have, I'm more than happy to field that, because I find it's easier in a way to deal with any questions there and then. But we can have questions at the end as well. It's not a problem. Okay. So once people start to join, I'll be able to see top right. I've got 9 people at the moment in the room. Can you see? Now it's 10. So the numbers are going up and up and up. So I'll wait a little bit longer and then we can get going. That was lovely. I've just finished my pint of coffee. Here we are. Okay, so we've got 17 or so people in the room. I think we'll make a start, if that's okay. So on the interface, as you can see, it says quiz, space race, exit ticket, multiple choice, true, false, short answer. So we're going to start off by looking at the quick questions. These require no preparation at all. So it means that you're able to use this at the beginning of the lesson, in the middle of the lesson, at the end of the lesson, without any preparation. You can just go for it and shorten the feedback loop, as one says. In other words, get a snapshot of how your class is feeling around a certain question that you may have. So to start off with, what I'm going to do is click on the MC, the multiple choice option. Okay, and by doing that, as you can see on the screen now, it's got A, B, C, D, and E. So everyone that's joined the classroom, you should be able to see on your screen now A, B, C, D, and E. And I just want you to tap on one of those letters randomly. Okay, so I obviously would be asking a question normally, but for this example, I just want you to tap on any of them randomly. I can see a couple of you are saying that yours is very slow. I'm not sure why that is. It might be to do with the internet connection. I'm not sure, but I can see it's working with most people. So as we can see at the moment, it's neck and neck with B, C, and D. Clearly what you could do, let's say at the end of the, it's the internet. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so you could say, for example, at the end of the lesson, A refers to, I've absolutely understood everything we've done in the lesson, down to E, I haven't got a clue what you're talking about. So in other words, you could have different levels of a response. You choose what the different letters refer to, and that's quite a nice sort of plenary activity to check understanding at the end of the lesson. Or at the beginning of the lesson, for retrieval practice, you could ask people to assess themselves. If I could ask everyone to mute their microphones, if that's okay. In fact, I can actually, what I can do, if I click here and I click mute all, let me just, okay, there we are. I've just muted everyone. I've actually disabled the option for you to unmute yourself, but I will allow you to unmute yourself at the end. I find that's a really helpful little tip in the Zoom sessions. It means then you don't get sort of funny sounds in the background, as Gay was talking about earlier. Okay, so that's brilliant. I can see that 16 out of 25 people have answered. And so I can see the most popular answer is C. So C could refer to whatever it might be that you then decide as the teacher. So then I can click on the true false option. Okay, and now this time on the screen, it says A or B. You can change the language of the interface as well, which I'll show you how to do in a second. But again, I could ask a question, for example, online teaching is a good idea. And then you could either click A or B. Let's see what happens. Hopefully for that one, everyone's going to say true, or most people. Otherwise, well, obviously there's no point me just preaching to converted, but hopefully most people think it is a good idea, particularly in the present context. Fantastic. Okay, so again, for speaking work, I could be using the target language the whole time. I could be saying, okay, that's interesting. 84% people think this statement is true. 16% think this statement is false, and then ask the people who have said it's true or false to justify their answer. So I think this is a really nice vehicle for speaking practice as well. Okay, now my favorite one is the short answer one. So I'm going to click on the short answer one now. Here it says optional question. So you could write in your optional question if you wanted to, or you could just say it out loud. You don't have to write anything in here if you don't want to. Where it says allow unlimited responses, for this one, I would not enable that unless it's a small class, because if you've got, say, 25, 30 people in your class and everyone responds 2 or 3 times, you're going to have too many messages to deal with. So I would just click start. I wouldn't require student names either. I would do that for the quizzes, but obviously that's a personal choice. Right, so if I now click start, I always ask at this point, let me know how you're feeling at the moment about remote teaching, or about teaching during the pandemic. And you'll see on your screen, you'll have the option to write in your answer, and then you can then post your answer and they all will start appearing. Okay, getting better, that's good. Underprepared, okay. challenging. Yeah, love it. So you can see here that you've got a number. You can have either single words or a sentence. So for language work, I think this is brilliant because it means that you can then ask everyone to post their thoughts, which could maybe highlight a misunderstanding, because everyone might, make the same mistake. So it could highlight a misunderstanding. It's fantastic for getting everyone's opinion, shortening the feedback loop in the way that I've talked about already. Let's look at some of these answers. Okay, so some of you are, so presumably some of you are teaching face-to-face, some of you are teaching maybe remotely, and some of you are teaching in a hybrid model, whereby you've got some children self-isolating, and then you have to obviously create work for them. Be interesting to know whether anyone is live teaching and has like a camera in the classroom, so people who are self-isolating are sort of watching live as opposed to you setting work for them asynchronously. So I've got a range of thoughts, which is what I thought we would get: somewhat scary, frustrating, interesting, new and interesting, challenging, etc. So I can see that Rory is teaching live with a camera. Wow, I would love to know more about how that worked, Rory. I think that must be interesting from a feedback point of view from the children who are watching live, and how you then monitor that feedback as well as what's happening in class. Okay, so as you can see here, we've had lots of replies. If there was anything that was inappropriate, I could click on remove, and that comment would be removed from the list. My next favorite activity around it, or the next part of this, is also one of my favorite things to do with a quick question option, is the start vote. So if I click on start vote and click yes, then all those answers will now appear on your screen. So that's why it's good not to have unlimited responses, because otherwise you'll be scrolling up and down forever, and it'll be very difficult for you to see all the whole range of all the answers. So keeping it to one answer per person, I think, is ideal. So now I would like you to vote for your favorite answer. Please don't all vote for yourself, otherwise it's a bit silly. But vote for your favorite one. So again, for highlighting maybe language mistakes or errors or misunderstandings, this is absolutely brilliant, because it means that you can see which is the most popular answer, and maybe that that is the correct answer, but it might be highlighting a misunderstanding or certain people following the popular child in the class, or adult or whatever, and then following what that person has done. So this is a really useful tool, I think, which you could use at the start of a lesson, or at the end of a lesson, or halfway through if you prefer. So at the moment we can see the most popular answer has its positives and negatives, which is a very balanced answer, which is fantastic. But if I were to ask a grammar question, like give me a good sentence using the perfect tense, for example, and then see what people come up with, that'd be great. Okay. I can see Colleen is drawing on the screen. Please don't draw on the screen, Colleen. Let me just remind myself how I can, I think it's annotate, and then I can then clear all drawings. Okay, there we are. So I've just cleared all the drawings, but we don't need anyone annotating on the screen, please. It's very distracting, but it's all good. Don't worry. Okay, right. So hopefully that's clear now how that works. So those are the quick fire questions, and I can see the most popular one has its positives and negatives. Perfect. So now we click on finish. Okay. And so those are the quick fire questions. I'm now going to go to the quiz option, and I'm going to select this particular quiz, which I've done for you. Okay, and I'm going to click next. Now you'll see here there are different options: instant feedback, open navigation, teacher paced. I'm going to go for the teacher paced one, and this is the next thing I'm going to talk about is the fact that one of the issues that's come up a lot, particularly if you're remote teaching, is how do you stop the children from using Google Translate? Okay, so one suggestion that I came up with is if you use a Socrative quiz like this and you make it teacher paced, you can choose how long each question is on the screen for. And you can also, I'll show you this in a moment, you can also add an image for each question. So that image could be, for example, the same reading comprehension text. So therefore, if you give, say, the children a couple of minutes, or the adults a couple of minutes in order to answer the question, and it's an image as opposed to text, then yes, okay, I suppose they could take a photo and then convert it into editable text and put it to Google Translate, but I think that's not very likely they're going to do that. And if they're going to really go to that bother, they're probably going to find other ways to cheat as well. But this is a nice way, I think, of discouraging, let's say, people from using Google Translate. So again, I'm going to click start. Okay, and then as you can see on your screen, that's where my image is. And as you can see, I've taken a screenshot of some text which I created, literally just saying example reading text. And so you can zoom in if you want to. If I click on zoom, I can now see it full screen like this as a student. And you can see it's a very difficult question. What language is this text written in? And then you would then click on the correct multiple choice answer. Okay, so see you can pin zoom on top so that you can see the action on the web page. Right click on the top of the choose. Okay, thank you for that tip. That's great. Okay, right. So that's that one, and we've got most people have answered so far. That's great. So then I click on next. Okay, this image I made using a website called autodraw.com, which I'll just put in the chat for you. Autodraw.com. Which is absolutely fabulous. Let me show you very quickly how to do this. It's very, very simple. If I go to here and go to auto draw, okay, and I do click here and click start over. I choose the color. I then draw. This is supposed to be a cat. It's not supposed to be a Tasmanian devil or a bat, although it looks a little bit like that. Never mind. That's supposed to be a cat. And then at the top of the screen, as you can see, different bits of clip art have appeared. So this is using artificial intelligence. It's a Google tool, and you can then choose whichever one it's supposed to represent. So at the moment, it thinks this is a cactus or a cat or a finger, apparently, or a fire, etc., etc. So of course, it's supposed to be a cat. So I just click on that. I can then click on the select tool, make it the size that I want. Oh, make it the size that I want. I can even do things like fill in the cat like this. Okay, and there we are. And then to download it, you click the 3 lines there and you click download, click save, and it's now there in Chrome, and then you can do whatever you want with it from there. So in my example, what I've done is I've used that image in my my little quiz here. Okay, so let's click on next. Okay, and then the last one, how do you say a pizza in French? Now, the reason I've asked this question is to highlight the fact that it's got to be exactly right. So if you look carefully, I've written a pizza, not pizza. So I've used the article. Therefore, in French, I appreciate, you might not know French, but it's asking you to say, what is the article of pizza? So is it masculine or feminine? Is it un or une? Do you need a capital letter for the U or for the P? So in fact, for this one, it is actually feminine. It's une pizza. So that means that if you've written un pizza, it will be marked as incorrect. So the point I'm making here is it has to be exactly what you say is the correct answer. So there we are. So if you've written un pizza, so lots of you are copying each other, but that's not actually correct. It's actually une pizza because it's feminine. But if you had written it with a capital U or a capital P, it will be seen as correct. Okay. Now, if I wanted to, I could click show names, but because you're all anonymous, then it wouldn't, it doesn't show you who you are, which is fine. And then I can click on show explanation, and I haven't added an explanation here. That's fine. So there we are. So then if I then click finish and okay, there we are. So here we are. And then if I click show answers, as you can see, the only person that's got it right is this person here. And if I had asked you to put your names in, I'd be able to identify who had done what. And as a result of that traffic lighting, I can then put in intervention strategies to support those people that are finding certain questions difficult. Okay, right. Let's go back to launch. And this time we're going to have a go at the space race. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is we're going to go to, let's have a quick look here, ER verbs. Now, again, I appreciate that you might not be French speakers, but for here, I'm going to choose a number of teams. Okay, I'm going to go for the auto assign option. You've got different icons: rocket, bear, bee, bicycle, spaceship, or unicorn. Obviously, we have to go for unicorn. no countdown, and we're good to go. So this is a nice activity to do at the end of a lesson, to sort of finish the lesson on a high, on a buzz. It could get a bit noisy, but you can do this remotely as well if you wanted to, or face-to-face in the classroom. Here we go. So we click start. Okay, and then the idea is the winning unicorn is the one which hits the right-hand side first. So again, the questions that you put together, that's based on the content you've been doing in the lesson. So a nice way to reinforce or to check understanding, check progression, is by doing this sort of space race. So what I'd love you to do now is to answer the questions on the screen, and then the unicorns will start to move. And let's see who the winning unicorn is going to be. There we are. So I can see that magenta has dived ahead, followed by peach. I think if I was doing this, you know, for real, I would have some music playing in the background from, say, Spotify, like Mission Impossible 3 or something like that, just to up the ante a little bit more. If you don't know French, just guess. It's fine. And then in a moment, I'll then show you the sorts of report that it then generates, if that's okay. So I'll just wait a little bit to give you enough time to answer the question, and we'll then go from there. Well done, magenta. Brilliant. Okay, so I think what I'll do now, because we are quite short on time, if I click finish and click OK. Okay, then again, I can click on show answers like that, just as before. I could click show names, but I wouldn't actually show the names live in front of the children for obvious reasons. You get a nice class total there for each question, so you can then work out based on their answers what you need to plan for the next lesson. You can then click on export here, click download like this. That will generate an Excel spreadsheet. So I just click save. There we are. I'll just load that up now on the page. And if I click new share and share my screen, oh, I'm showing my screen already. That's fine. So that means you should be able to see everything that's on my screen. There we are. So you can now see this lovely Excel spreadsheet, and then you can then save that in your Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams or wherever it is that you want, where you want to save it. So this is for the teacher. You wouldn't show that to the children. Okay, well, Sharon, we're just finishing the Socrative site. It was 29701, but we're just finishing up now. If you want to still go in as a well, I'm going to ask. Well, I'm going to demonstrate now how to make your own quiz, because if this was a longer session, I'll get you all to make your own quizzes. But for now, because it's only an hour, we're going to just go for watching, if that's okay. So we've done like the interactive bit, and now I'm going to show you how to make your own quiz. Okay, but you're very welcome. Lovely to see you. And yes, if I had a penny for every time someone called me Dale, as in thinking it was my first name, I'd be a rich man. So it's actually Joe, but it's all good. Right, so let me click on the quizzes option here. So as opposed to launch, which takes you to the main interface, as you can see, it says quizzes. And here, if I click on add quiz, and as you can see here, it says create new, and it also says import. So if you had a code of someone else, another quiz, then you would click on import, and then you can then import someone else's quiz into your account, which is very nice. So it means that you could, for example, as I said, create a Google Sheet and share the codes with everyone, and then everyone will have their time better use maximize by sharing ideas with each other. So I can see that, yeah, Yasmin has said, yes, Yasmin, that's right. So formative assessment tool for making a quiz, either a pre-made quiz, which is more formal, or an on-the-fly quiz, as we've demonstrated, multiple choice, true, false, or short answer. So let's come up with a title now. So let's call it Capitals. Okay, you can see on the right-hand side, it says enable sharing, which is on by default. And then here, you've got the code. That's when you would then share that code with your colleagues, and they could then import your quiz into their account and vice versa. Let's start off with a multiple choice question. So let's start off with what is the capital of Australia, right? Let's go for different possible answers. So is it Perth? Is it Canberra? Is it Sydney? Or is it Brizzy? Let's have a look. Brisbane. Okay, and you can see as well on the right-hand side there, this is the image option. So you could find an image there, which could be obviously a reading comprehension text. But if you wanted to go to, if you wanted to use the cat image, you could do that as well. But if you wanted to find a nice image, you could go to, say, a website like Photos for Class, photosforclass.com, which should come up right now. There we are. So if I put in Australia, this is a website which has royalty-free images, which legally you're allowed to use. So that's quite a nice one. If I click download, like that, and click save, there we are. I can then go back to Socrative, click on the image option, and then find my image, which is going to be here. There we are. Can you see? Click open. That's my image there. So that could be your reading comprehension text, as it were. The important thing here as well is to remember to say to Socrative which is the correct answer, which is why I put a little tick there. And there we are. If I now click on the short answer option, I can create another question. Okay, so this time I'm going to say, what is the capital of Canada? Question mark. And then again, for this one, this is similar to the a pizza question, which I shared with you before. It's got to be, there can only be one correct answer, or if you have optional answers, those are the only ones which are going to be accepted. Yes, Yasmin. Okay, so there are lots of tools out there which do similar things. Quizlet or Kahoot. This is Socrative. So I would just have a look at all the different ones out there and then choose the one which best fits your needs. Absolutely. I would love to have a whole day workshop looking at all these different options, but we've only got an hour today. Right. So you would then put in the right answer. So obviously the answer is Ottawa, as opposed to say maybe a grammar answer where there might be more than one answer, but you've got to make sure that you put in all the alternative answers that you want. Right. So there we are. We've done it. If I now click save and exit, you have as many questions as you want. And there it is. It's there. So then to launch that, I would just click on launch. Go to quiz, select my quiz, and then away we go. And then everyone would then log in with my room number. So your room number doesn't change at all. It's always the same. So as you can see here, it says 29701. If I want to change that forever, as it were, I can click on the rooms option. I can click on the pen option here, and I can now change the name. I've always kept it as 29701 because I've been using this well over 10 years, probably longer than that, 13 years or something. I've always kept the same room number, but you could have your actual name there if you wanted, as long as you have no spaces. Okay. The other thing I wanted to point out is if you click on your account here and you go to profile and you click demographics, here it says language English UK. I could click on that and I can change the interface into some other languages if I wanted to, which is nice as well. Okay. And that's essentially Socrative, all the different things that you can do with it. So let's move on to my presentation, and that's hopefully giving you a flavor of how it can be used. Okay. Right, the next thing we're going to do is have a look at Flipgrid. So if you've not seen Flipgrid before, it's a Microsoft tool, which it used to be completely, it used to be a premium version, used to be like a free part of it, and then a premium version. It used to belong to Flipgrid, the company, and then it was acquired by Microsoft a few years ago, and now it's completely free. So you can have unlimited grids, unlimited topics, or the grids actually referred to now as groups. So a group is like a class, and a topic is like a lesson. So top left, you've got Jane Bassnett, who's a head of languages in the UK, and she is doing a video there whereby you can see her face. You can also see an image, and she's annotating over the top. So in this example, she's talking about the simple future in French, and she's able to annotate while speaking, and everything's captured. So perfect for like the remote learning context, or for flip learning, or for asynchronous practice. On the right-hand side, she's describing a grammar point. So in this case, the perfect tense using être as the auxiliary. So she's taken what looks like a PowerPoint screenshot. She's annotating over the top and recording her voice. Bottom left, you've got a teacher called Sam Carey, which I'll just put in the chat for you. So that's S-A-M-K-A-R-Y, Sam Carey. Okay, and he has a YouTube channel called The New EdTech Classroom, and he's done a few Flipgrid videos about how it can be used to teach remotely. That one is brilliant. And then on the next page, I've got another one which I'd recommend that he has done. And again, you've got all the links to the different sessions, the different references on that slide. And then on the right-hand side, you've got Jess from Flipgrid, just talking about some of the ways in which you can use Flipgrid in the classroom for things like stop motion animation, screen recording, and all the rest of it. Let's carry on. Case in point, this is the video that Sam, as you can see on the right-hand side, has done recently in August. As you can see, it says assigning work with topics and groups. That's a brilliant video. On the left-hand side, this is one from Mike Tolfson, who works for Microsoft, and he's done a brilliant video around the new feature of adding text comments within Flipgrid. So I would really encourage you to have a look at all those videos, both of those videos, once we have gone through the presentation. Okay, in this example, this is a screenshot top left of a school in the Middle East, whereby they're using Flipgrid. As you can see, it says some really lovely videos from Year 9 this morning on Flipgrid. Even got a subjunctive, such community of confidence. We may not be face-to-face, but Zoom, Flipgrid, and Hangouts are our next best things. On the right-hand side, you've got the fact that Flipgrid now has a Chrome extension and a Microsoft Edge extension, so you can record directly from the browser. And then you've also got the screen recording option, which I'm going to demonstrate live in a moment. So, in fact, I'm going to do it right now. So if I click Exit, and then let's go back to here. If I go to Flipgrid, this is the page that you need to go to for Flipgrid. Let me just put this in the chat for you. Okay, I've already got an account, so I'm just going to click Educate and Login, but you would then sign up here. You can use a standard email address or a Google or Microsoft email address. For this one, I've used a standard email address, which it should remember in my browser, and it should log me straight in. Okay, maybe not. If I click login here, there we are, it has remembered it. So then I click login to Flipgrid, then I'm going to be straight in. Brilliant. Okay, so, okay, this is just about the text comments, which I just said. So if you watch that video, it will tell you all how to do this. Right. Now the groups, as I said, are like a class, and the topic is like a lesson. You can now create a topic as a standalone thing, but I normally create a group first, which is what I'm going to do right now. So if I click create a group, this is also really important. In a real situation, I would say that you must create your group as private. To do that, you need to add your students either via email or via student username. Student email, it has to be a Microsoft or a Google school domain account to keep it safe for everybody. And then the username, again, be wary of putting in students' full names for obvious reasons. For this session, I'm just going to make a public one because I don't obviously want to be taking all your email addresses. So I'm just going to call it QATESOL, like that. Here, I can change the join code to whatever I want. So let's call it QATESOL as well. It is available, so that's brilliant. And I click next. Okay. This is if you have multiple topics and you want to take a topic from another group and add it into a new group, you can do that, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to click skip for now. Right, so this is the link here. As you can see, it's got integration of Google Classroom and Microsoft Teams, as well as other ways of embedding the content. But for now, I'm just going to click go to group. Okay, so there we are. You can do things like change the picture, but we haven't got time to do that right now. So now what I'm going to do, having made my group, having made my class, as it were, and it's unlimited groups, unlimited classes, you can click on add a topic. Okay, I'm going to come up with an example topic. How are you feeling? Question mark. So normally the way you would do this is you would record a question in the target language as your first video, and then encourage other students to then post their videos onto the same group or the grid. And then you can then give feedback, etc., which I'm going to demonstrate all live right now. You can have all the videos moderated so that the only person that sees the video is the teacher that the students have sent, or you can have it so it's a private group, but everyone can see everyone else's work. Okay, so let's just write in the start of the discussion. So I'm just going to write an example topic. Okay, if I go further down, it says recording time 1.5 minutes. I'm going to change that. You can change it from 15 seconds up to 10 minutes, which is really cool. You've got the closed captions option. So it means that if this is turned on, it will allow you to create a transcript automatically of your video, which I demonstrated live with a group of Italian teachers recently, and it appeared in Italian, which is just fantastic. I'm going to select English United Kingdom. You can see there's a range of options there. Topic moderation. I'm going to show you how moderation works. So I've just turned that on. If I go further down, I'm going to now click Create Topic. Okay. Right, so there it is. It's been made. I'm now going to click All Set, and as you can see here, it says Record a Response. So this is what the teacher would do. So if I click Record a Response, okay, now this has come up because of the fact I'm using my camera already in Zoom. I always show this to people just to show what the issue is. So if I stop my video in Zoom and I refresh the page, you'll now be able to see my face. There we are. Okay. So this is the Flipgrid camera, and it's had a big update as of August 2020. So they've added some more features. I'm just going to show you the basic idea. So if I now record, here we go. Okay, so this is just using the standard camera in Flipgrid. So the idea would be that I would record my question in the target language, post it onto the Flipgrid. The children would see, or the adults would see the Flipgrid video, and then they could then record their answers to that, and I can then give them feedback, etc. Right, I've just recorded that. I click Next. Okay, so this is just using the standard camera in Flipgrid. So the idea would be that I can review that. I can click Add More to record more videos if I wanted to, as part of a collection of videos that all run together in one session. But I'm just going to click Next. Okay, you have to take a selfie, but you don't have to take a selfie of yourself. You can add other things, which I'll talk about in a moment. So you have to do a selfie like that. Click Next. Okay, it then uploads. It appears like this, so you can change your name here to be whatever you want it to be, but by default it's your first name plus the first initial of your second name. Then you click Submit. Right, now you can see here, because I'm logged in as the teacher, it just says your video is now visible, but as a student it would appear differently, which I'll show you in a second. Right, so there's my video, and that's what it looks like. Right, so now if I click here, Join Code, this is the student view now, okay? So if I also click here, can you see top right? If I click there, then that's the actual code. I'm not asking you to record a video from my Flipgrid. Well, you can if you want to. If you've got the Flipgrid app and you want to scan that QR code or put in that, selection of letters and numbers, let me just put that in the chat for you. Oh, let me do that again. If I just put that in the chat, let's see if this works. There we are. Feel free to join the session. You can see here it says moderated because I've turned on moderation, and now I'm logged in as I'm going to be logged in as a student. If I click here, it asks me to log in. I always click Remember Me. So I'm logged in as a teacher, and I'm going to be logged in as a student. So I'm going to use my Gmail account to do that, and there we are. So now I'm logged in as a student. So I want to show you some options. So let's imagine the student is very shy and doesn't want to appear in the video. You've got a number of options. What I'm going to do first of all is click Filters, and you can choose Pixel. So now it looks like I'm on Crime Watch, which is obviously a UK show. I don't know if you get that in Australia, but it looks like I've committed some crime, which I haven't obviously, but I'm just going to get rid of that now and record myself. Here we go. Okay, so this is an example of the filter that you can add to your camera so that you can't identify who it is who's speaking, only by their voice, but not by their picture. So this is good for shy students or people that don't want to appear on the video. Right, then you click Next. So just before. Okay, so this is an example of the filter that you can add to Next again, then take a selfie with the filter on. Oh, I'm smiling, honestly. Then Next again, and then click Submit. Okay, now can you see here that you've got other options as a student being logged in? So you can download the QR code for that video. Each video has a QR code attached to it. You can download the video, you can download the selfie. You can also get a direct link, just that individual video as well. And there's what's called my.flipgrid.com, which means as a student, you can go in and see all the videos you posted on all the different topics and groups, which is just fantastic. Right, let's click complete. As you can see there, it says video submitted. Your video will be hidden until approved by your educator. So let's see how that works. So if I go here and I go to educator dashboard, okay, and I go to QATESOL and I go to the topic like this, okay, and there we are. Right, so you can see here we've got Rory and we've got me here, and you can see that both of the videos there are hidden because I've got moderation turned on. So what I can do now is I can click on here on my name. There we are. Here's my video. Okay, so this is an example of the filter that you can add to your camera. Okay, there we are. And you can see here it's hidden. So I can now have watched the video, but I can keep it hidden if I want to. It's not a problem. Under feedback, I can write a public comment, which obviously anybody can see, and it sees who you're commenting as being logged in. If I click feedback, you'll see here that this is grayed out, right? But I can also send private feedback. So I could say, for example, great job, Joe. And now that is now in blue. But also, if I click record feedback, I can record feedback just for that individual student as well, like this. Okay. So I watched your video, Joe, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic. But I did notice that there are 3 things you need to work on: A, B, and definitely C. Keep up the good work. Okay, then you click next. So I watched your video, Joe, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic. But I did next again, take a selfie. Next again, complete. There we are. So that's now there. And then here I could click on copy feedback link or email feedback and send that to that person privately, as it were. So it's really nice the way that you can set that up in that way. And don't forget that's still hidden, the video, if I wanted to keep it hidden. But if I don't want to, I can make it active. And now it's going to be active. Okay, if I go back here, that's all good. So let's go back to, if I go to here, and if I now want to turn off moderation, if I go back to educator dashboard, okay, go back to QATESOL, click on here, and now, as you can see, that's now active. I can also check out Rory's. Let's have a quick look in the video.
Hi, I actually think this is really quite interesting. Thanks so much.
Brilliant.
This is so cool.
Okay, so that's fine. I can then make that active. I can give feedback, and I can record some feedback. Delighted you're enjoying Flipgrid. I also think it's really cool and brilliant for asynchronous speaking practice. Well done. Right, click next. Next again. Take a selfie. Next. Complete. There we are. That's all good. And now I could then send that link privately if I wanted to. Okay, so let me show you how to turn off moderation now. So let's go back to here and not to there. Sorry, if we go back to here. There we are, and I go back to QATESOL and the individual topic, and then you then go to here, actions, and you click edit topic, okay? And then here, we now turn off moderation and click update topic. Perfect, right. So now I'm gonna click join code again, so I'm now going in as a student again. Yeah, exactly, well done, Rory. And now I'm going to show you some other things you can do with this in the next 10 minutes. Okay, so if I click on effects, you've got the frames option, which is quite nice. So you can, look as if you're like this. So good for sort of speaking in different contexts. Imagine that you're in the jungle, or this sort of like 1970s wallpaper, or breaking news. That could be quite fun. Or this sort of camera shot, or I think that'd be good for talking about things in the past, like a dream sequence. This one is quite groovy, etc., etc., etc. That's quite modern as well, or no frames at all. Go back to effects. Another good way of hiding your face is using emojis. So if I were, for example, to click on this one, okay, it will then appear on the screen. Hopefully, there we are. And I can now drag that over my whole face like that and make a recording like this. Okay, so if I'm feeling very shy, I can put an emoji all over my face to hide myself, or I could put a number of emojis around my face and use those as a prompt for speaking practice. Okay, let's click next. Okay, so if I'm feeling very shy, I can put an emoji, click next again, take a picture, next again, click submit. There we are, complete. Right, let's do another one. Another nice feature is here, you've got the sticky note. So if you click the sticky note, then you can write in some little prompts for you to remember what it is that you want to say. And that sticky note will not appear in the final video, which is just awesome as well. Fantastic. Okay, so that's that one. If we carry on, you've got the text option. So if I click, say, typewriter, and I just say some example text, like that. And you can do other things like change the color and all the rest of it, but you can just, have this for what's called lower third, a bit like a news report, and just have it like here, breaking news, whatever it is that you want to do, and you can change the color and all the rest of it. But that's hopefully giving you an idea. If you want to clear anything that's on the screen at any time, you just click here, and that gets rid of it. The drawing option, that's also really nice. So you can choose the color like this, the thickness like this, and then you can then draw on the screen like this. Oh, let's do undo. Let's press record, and you can draw while you're speaking. Okay, so here I am speaking. I'm going to click on the draw option, and I'm going to now draw over my face. Okay, and I could be drawing an arrow to something, or circling something, or giving myself a moustache, whatever it might be. Could be lots of fun, I think, and creative ideas around speaking. Right, click next. Okay, so again, take a picture. Next, and it then uploads. Right, here we are, submit and complete. Okay, let's carry on. Next one is the, well, let's look at the photo one before we do the board one. So the photo one, okay, this is when you add in a sticker. So let's imagine we want to use that Australia picture that we just used. If I can literally, can you see, drag and drop it, and there it is. And I can now make that full screen, oh, like that. And I can now, oh, let's do that again, sorry. Hang on, let's make that full screen. So again, if you don't want to appear on the actual Flipgrid video, what you can do is just add in a photo or a sticker and hide yourself completely like this. Okay, so this is an example of how to add in a photo or a sticker to cover the frame completely, so you can't see me at all, but you can certainly hear my voice. Then click next. Okay, so this is an example of how to add next again. Take a picture, click next. Okay, submit. Right, complete. Now another idea, which is similar, is if I click effects again and photo, and then I drag this over the top like this, and I make it full screen as I did before, like that. You could go up to the Bitmoji Chrome extension, which should work now. There we are. And I'm going to put in the word pose, P-O-S-E, and I'm going to right-click that and click Save Image As. Click Save. There it is, and then I'm going to click Effects, Photo, and then I'm going to drag this guy onto the screen. So now here, I now can record myself doing the following. Here we go. So this is an example of using Bitmoji in conjunction with the image and showing how much I love Australia by moving myself across the screen like this. Okay, and then click Next. So this is an example of using Bitmoji, can you see, in conjunction with the image and showing how much I love Australia by moving myself across the screen like this. Okay, and then I can click Add More. Like that. I can then go back to Photos for Class. I can choose this image here and click Download and click Save. Okay, go back to Flipgrid, Effects, Photo, drag that onto there. So this is the second video in my little series here. There we are, we'll have it like that. Go back to Bitmoji, which is here. Click there. Right, this time I'm going to put in the word boat. There it is. Right click, save image as, save the image, click on effects, click photo, drag him onto the screen. There we are. Here we go. The last time I was in Australia, I went to Sydney and I paddled in front of the Sydney Opera House. It was really cool. Okay, then click next. Okay, you can. So this is an example of using Bitmoji. You can then click add more, but you get the idea. So you can build up this over time in conjunction with the image and showing how much I love Australia by moving myself across the screen like this. The last time I was in Australia, I went to Sydney and I paddled in front of the Sydney Opera House. It was really cool. Okay, so there we are. That's pretty cool. Then you click next, take a selfie, next, submit, complete. Right, let's do another. Let's just refresh the page actually, so we can't see all the videos that we've got. Let's just refresh the page. They should all appear. There we are. Yep, can you see? Right, if I click record response, let's do some more. If I click effects and I click board this time. Now for the board one, as you can see, I need to choose a board. It could be a whiteboard or a blackboard or one of these color ones. I'm just going to go for the whiteboard. I can now move. Can you see the split screen? Let's go for the middle one. And then I could, for example, let's do that again. Sorry, that's a mistake. Let's go back. I can then click effects, click photo, drag this. There we are. Can you see? So I can then record while talking about the image on the left or the right hand side as I wish. Or what I could do is if I delete that, I can click the effects option and I can choose draw. Then I could choose, let's say black, go for quite a thick thickness, and then record in this way. Here we go. So, okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to explain to you how to use the drawing feature. So I could, for example, write the word hello. I can then change the color to say sort of a reddy color or orangey color and do this. Right, I can now click up here where it says clear. That gets rid of that. I can then move it back to say black and carry on recording like this. Okay, so now I'm going to write the word goodbye. But I could be describing how to form the perfect tense or some grammar point. I can also change the color to the same sort of color as before, like this. Right, then you click next. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to explain to you how to use the drawing feature. So I could, for example, write the word hello. I can then change the color to say sort of a reddy color or orangey color and do this. Okay, so now I'm going to write the word goodbye, but I could be describing how to form the perfect tense or some grammar point. I can also change the color to the same sort of color as before, like this. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, okay, so that's really nice for flip learning, for grammar explanation. I'm going to clear the screen there. Oh, yeah. And then have a selfie. Next, and then submit. Right, I'm just going to do one other thing, if that's okay. It means we might go slightly over, but it'll be worth it. I'm going to go to Google Earth, like this. Let's launch Google Earth. There we are. Okay, so it looks like this, and I'm going to show you the screen recording option in Flipgrid, which I just think is fabulous. So there's different ways of recording your screen. You can use tools like Loom or Screencastify, but now it's inbuilt within Flipgrid in the web browser version, and it's coming soon to the app version as well. So if I go back to here, go back to here, and join code viewer student. Okay. There we are. And I'm going to record my response. Here we are. So as opposed to going here and going through all these options, which are just now exhausted, if you click on the 3 dots here, you can see one of the options is record screen. Another option is uploading a clip. So if you wanted to record something using another tool or another device, you could record it and then upload it onto Flipgrid as a way of handing in homework. But for now, I'm going to click record screen. I click start recording. I choose, let's get some of these things out of the way. I choose Chrome tab. I choose Google Earth and I click share. I then move this out of the way, right? And what I could do is I could click on the search option and put in a particular place I wanted to go to, but I don't want to do that. I want to click here, which is the I'm feeling lucky option. And by clicking that, it will take me anywhere in the world. I literally have no idea where we're going to go right now, but let's go for it. So I'm clicking I'm feeling lucky. So I'm going to Greece, okay? So I'm zooming into Greece, to this particular place in Greece. And okay, so there it is. So then in the target language, I could be saying, okay, so what can we see? Where are we? Which country are we in? What can you see? You can see, okay, I can see a park, I can see a town, I can see a museum. All of this could be done in the target language. And then what you can do, you can see on the right-hand side there, bottom right, you've got the little peg man, and I can drag him where the little pin is. And now we can go into Google Street View. So Google Street View isn't always available within Google Earth, depending on where you go. I've been on a mountain, I've been, by an island, et cetera here. So here we're in Street View and I can say, okay, what can you see? Tell me in the target language, what can you see? Okay, so I can see cars, I can see what looks like, different shops. Oh, I can see a sports field. I can't see anyone here yet, but you see how it works. So then you can click I'm feeling lucky. And now we're going to go, oh, wow, we're going to London of all places. Right, we're going to London. Okay. So again, I can say, okay, so what can we see? Let's just wait for it to appear. Okay, we can see, wow, we can see the Bank of England. There we are. We haven't got any money in the Bank of England at the moment, but never mind. So again, you can say, okay, so what can you see? So this is, built up city. You can see, yeah, lots of different places. Let's go into Street View. Like that. And we should, yeah, we are. We're going straight in. There we are. Right, so there's one person there. So what's that person been doing? Where are they going? How are they feeling? Yeah, you see the idea. If you wanted to, we could then go down the street. Okay, lovely. So, from a cultural understanding point of view, that's a British bus. You could then, click here. There we are. We can go down the street. If we wanted to a little bit more, we can you see, you can travel around, et cetera, et cetera. Let's go to one other place. Let's see if we can find somewhere which is a bit more rural. Now we're going to New York. Okay, again, we're going to somewhere which is very urban. Okay, but you see how it works, yeah? So I think for speaking, this is just fantastic. So now we're going to the planetarium. Okay, and then I'm going to drop him here. Let's see what happens. Sometimes it says Google Street View is not available, but today we've been lucky and it's all been here. So now we're going to go into Street View, I think. Aren't we? Let's have a look. Okay, so, we're actually inside now. Brilliant. Okay, so again, what can you see? Maybe we can travel around a little bit. Yeah, you can actually move around a bit as well. So you can actually move around the building, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, you get the idea. You can see how that's, oh, wow, what's that? Wow, brilliant. So for speaking work, you could get the children to come up with, ask what different things are that they don't know the language for. Brilliant. There's a dinosaur. How cool is that? Okay, so then we go back to Flipgrid. We stop recording, right? And what I could do is I could click on the search option and put in a particular place I wanted to go to. But another thing you can do is if you click here on the timeline, right? And what I could do is I could click on the search. You can actually move. Can you see the handles? You can move where you want the starting point to be, which is quite nice as well. Here, which is the let's go for it. So I'm clicking, okay? So I'm zooming in. Let's imagine I wanted to start from this point. That's how it works. Then you click confirm. Okay. So I'm zooming. You can click add more and then add another video as I've shown you already. Take a selfie. Click next. It's going to upload. It's going to take a little bit longer to upload because obviously it's a bigger video file. But you could also ask the children or the adults to also make their little web quests as well in the same way. Right, so good question about, okay, so Google Earth is not accessible in China. I don't know about Flipgrid or Socrative, you just have to try. If you go onto Twitter and do a search for Flipgrid or Socrative, and then China, and see whether there are educators who are saying that they're using it there. Yes, you'll have to just, I don't know. I know Google is banned, but you'll be able to have a look at that for yourself. Okay, I click submit and complete, and there we are. So we've done all these different Flipgrid ideas, brilliant for speaking practice, and that's great. So let's go back here, click back on present, and there we are. And just a thought, I know I've sort of mentioned this already, but if you would like some extra support around remote teaching or hybrid teaching or face-to-face teaching, then these ideas I think should definitely help. So here are 18 example sessions, lots of different ideas that can help you and support you. I've given you my contact details already. Do get in touch. I don't mind whatever time I need to get up in the morning to do these sorts of things. It's my pleasure to help and support you. And thank you ever so much for this opportunity. And I look forward to seeing you all next week as well for the second part of this webinar. Okay, there's the presentation. So if you'd like to access that, I'll put that in the chat as well for everyone. So it's just is.gd, which is my URL shortener of choice, followed by QATESOL 1, all lowercase. And there we are.